YouTubular. What is happening? No, that's horrible. You know what? This is hard. Oh my goodness. Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, Samantha Jones. Maybe soon to be Spirit Guide Traveler. I might just switch over this account. I have been taking a video editing course and a photography course online. It's really great. I might even leave my affiliate link below. I'm like 50%. I'm not even in the editing course yet. So that brings me to the point of this video. Brett is coming over soon. We're going to look at my new camera. So I can barely turn this on right now. Not even gonna lie. I get stuck and I really hate reading instructions. No, that's just sad when you say it out loud. But anyways, so kind of excited to get this going. It is kind of looking super snowy out, which I thought was gonna be really cute. And we could get a shoot in, which we still might. Brett is so good with that. He's just like, so are we shooting today or do you want something else? Do you want my actual company? Both. You know what? When someone offers to shoot you all the time, it's like, yes. You know what? Some people just really love creating art, creating photos, and hey, it checks all the boxes of my triggers, so. So I'm actually really curious what it's going to be like on the other side of the camera and be able to do that for models and be a female photographer in the industry and just create. If I can even get close to Lost LeBlanc videos, ooh, watch out. It's going to be cool. Oh, I was already looking at drones this morning. So anywho, Brett had a long week. He does video professionally, like for a really big company. And apparently he had to shoot in the mud, like in a trench all week, all night, like all nights. So I'm really even surprised he's coming over. We'll see if he's feeling camera friendly today, if he wants to. Because maybe not everybody has a photographer friend, right, that can just come over and be like, this is how you turn it on. Oh man. I need to go outside. It's beautiful, okay? Isn't it? Look at that. Like that little park there, even though it doesn't look like much, it actually really gets the job done for like a quick little photo shoot. Okay, wish me luck. This is the Canon EOS Rebel 7? Something like that. Yes, it says right on it. EOS Rebel T7, whatever that means. So, let's dive in. Say hi to my subscribers.
Hello.
Okay, so far I'll pop it off, I'll turn it on, and I get stuck after that.
Really?
Yep.
You get stuck right here.
Yeah, like I can't take a picture actually. Help. Yeah.
You're telling me that there's no photos on this camera?
There's gotta be. Like, I think you just took one. But I'm new and there's a lot of blonde underneath.
You certainly are very new. So
let me find the instructions while you're kind of messing around.
Well, I took a photo.
Yeah, and you saw it. Okay, I can't get the playback feature so I can see it.
Hey, look, there's a photo that you took.
That's the button I was looking for. Okay. See? We're learning buttons.
There's way too many options here.
Yeah.
For someone who doesn't know what they're doing.
There's a lot of emojis.
You just want the green one with the big A+ on it.
Oh.
That's the best place to start.
A for amateur.
Scene intelligent auto. So this will give you autofocus, automatic brightness, automatic flash, automatic settings.
Okay.
So it'll just try to figure out, and then it's telling you right here, it thinks that right now, sorry. It tried to raise the flash and my hand was in the way. Oh, there's a built-in flash.
Ooh, that's nifty. Camera ASMR.
Oh, it's not. I'm sorry.
I also did get a nice mic to go on top of here.
Okay, so it's automatically selected a bunch of settings and allowed us to take this photo.
And it looks great.
Right? It actually, yeah, it looks not bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So it gives you us these 3 numbers. Now you can see how they're changing. They're changing because if I point the camera around differently, it's responding to slight changes in the lighting.
Mm-hmm.
So what these numbers are, the first number is your shutter, your shutter speed. So that's like a 1/80th or 1/60th of a second that your sensor is exposed. The F number is aperture, which is a measure of how much or little light your lens is allowing to reach the sensor. And the ISO is like it's like gain on an amplifier. It's like a digital. In this way, it kind of it's the sensitivity of the sensor is the ISO number. It adjusts the sensitivity of the sensor so that if you're in very low light, you can kind of crank up the gain on your sensitivity, and you can fake it, but it'll reduce the quality of the image.
Yeah, I was learning that in the course.
Yeah.
It's like a brightness booster, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it creates more digital noise.
Oh, yeah. Let me put this over here because we're getting a lot of good little amateur photo tips and tricks. So we set it on the A setting over here. I was like trying to flick it over here for some reason. And it likes to flicker before you take it, like so you can frame it. This is a lot different than just pointing your phone and be like, hey, look, I take photos, and it turns out. Okay. Yes. Okay. The dome. Sure. That sounds like a photo sound. Okay. This
There's
one
your photo.
works.
You took a photo. Success.
Wicked. What's next?
Yeah, what is next? What do you want
Can't
to
find the
know?
instructions either, so this is going to be extra difficult. What if we were outside compared to inside?
Well, for you, since you're using the automatic settings for now, it shouldn't make a huge difference. But if we're outside during the daytime, your flash probably isn't going to pop up.
Yeah.
And if you pay attention to it over time, even if you don't try to learn more about things, you'll probably notice like that these numbers are like higher when you're doing one thing than they are when you're doing a different thing. You know what I mean? Like you could probably learn some stuff without even trying to, you know what I mean? Just from that. But I know that you have a lot more like intention on
like the 1/60, that's shutter speed, like you're saying. So this is for like something that's not moving. Can you explain the 1/60 again?
Yeah, it's 1/60th of a second.
Yeah.
So it's a very small fraction of a second, but you will still get blur on a moving subject at that speed. Even for someone who's standing still, a lot of the time you want a higher shutter speed than that. Just for little wee movements and stuff. Because I know, like a lot of the time, if we've shot together, it's not like you're just posing in a spot and holding. You're moving in between positions and stuff like that too. So and you're trying to capture a bunch of different stuff. A higher shutter speed definitely helps when the subject is active.
How would I change that? Say if you were gonna go ahead and take a bunch of model-y pictures, like would it be like even 200 or even 100? Like
you would probably want at least 1/200th of a second. I imagine that there's so many different presets here that we should probably explore some of them because some of them may be designed to help you capture a more active subject.
Would make sense. I got the most basic camera.
Yeah.
Like let's just start with this one.
But let's so you know when you can't use a flash as a dump, portrait, landscape, close up, sports. Okay, so like food, nighttime, and video. 1/320 is your shutter speed. So it's automatically giving you, and you can also see it's giving you a higher ISO number.
That's super high.
No, it's not.
Isn't it?
That's not that high actually.
Oh.
That's totally reasonable to have an ISO like 800, or when you start having like my camera goes up to like ISO 51,000.
Oh.
So like, and that introduces a lot more noise. But at 800 or 1,000 ISO, that's still pretty high quality. You might notice a small bit of difference, but what it's doing here is it's not changing your f-stop. It's not changing the stop. It's compensating for that higher shutter speed by cranking up the sensitivity, right? Well, then I need to have a higher shutter speed. So in order to still have the same exposure in your photo, you need to crank up the ISO to compensate. It's like I don't fully know how to grasp it all, but like they call it like it's like the triangle. Exposure is like a triangle or like a Venn diagram where it's like these three elements are all interacting in order to achieve the right exposure. So if you need to compensate, if you need to change one of them, you probably need to change another one of them to compensate for that in order to keep the same exposure, if that makes sense.
It will.
Yeah. Adapter still, right? Because your phone wouldn't still have one of these.
Nope.
But like an old phones used to have this, right? So you could have just plugged this right into your phone.
Yeah.
But with an adapter, you could still do that. But you want to look at it. So you want to see like, well, now your camera looks a little more cool and full professional.
It does.
Actually, your camera doesn't have an audio input.
Where's the receipt?
But it's very cool. It is a very cool.
It looks cool. It's very phallic.
Yeah,
like,
a nice shotgun mic.
Right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so pro. Someone I saw had it, so I wanted the same one.
It's a good one. There's a couple I like. I don't guess I don't really shoot a lot of content, but I like having the stuff that's decent, you know? Like I've got a good camera, and I'd like to be able to capture good audio. Like, so I used to like doing a lot of podcasting and stuff like that too. And it's nice to have good stuff.
Okay, can we look at the video?
Okay.
Which is like...
So now in video mode, you might have to, let's see. Well, it's giving you like an automatic exposure mode for video as well.
How did you get to it?
So, I hit the menu button.
There we go. I tried this before.
I was like, I think I'd like to see the menu. Which of these buttons should I press if I wanted to see the menu? Maybe the menu button. So I tried that one, and I found what I was looking for.
Literally, when I turned it on before, I would just get it to say busy. So I was like, oh no, what if this is like a defective one?
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what it was trying to do.
Plus, it would make a lot more sense if it was like touchscreen and scrolly.
Yeah. A lot, yeah. You know. This is your first camera. It's probably not your last camera.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'll just pawn it off to my mom when I don't want it anymore.
I have done stuff like that. But yeah, so it's going to give you some automatic exposure, and if you just press the shutter button, hold it like halfway, depress it instead of like pushing it all the way down. But if you press it while you're shooting video, it will adjust the automatic focus. So if it's focused up close and then you turn and you want to be focused further away, you'll have to press the button down, and then it'll refocus on whatever's in front of it. And then we have some options. Okay, so HD is like the highest quality video it can do, which is still good enough for the internet, right? But you're not shooting 4K.
Yeah, they said stay away from 4K because it takes up too much file and
they are enormous files anyway.
Too much to upload.
And if people are going to watch it on their phone, then it's overkill. And then you've got automatic sound recording, but you just with the internal mic. But you can still do like different lenses and everything. I've got a lens. I'm gonna lend you a lens or two.
that you can try, because it'll have different characteristics than this lens. Because this lens, the lowest stop, like we talked about the f stop, right? So the lowest stop that this lens can do is 3.5. So that's going to limit, so like those kind of cool shots where the background is really, really blurry with if you want to try to get the bokeh and have that shallow depth of field. For the most part, you're going to find that with lenses that are capable of a lower stop than 3.5.
Like 1?
Like 1.2, 1.4, 1.8, 2.8 even is a stop, a full stop or so wider. But yeah, that just, that impacts some of the characteristics of the kinds of photos that you'll get. But that's cool because that's the thing. Like in the old days, you couldn't get a camera. I don't know what this camera cost, but I know that a few years ago, you couldn't get a camera that you could exchange lenses on for the same price as you got this one for. You know what I mean? For whatever you paid for this, those cameras used to just have a fixed lens. I remember I paid like $800 for a camera that was really kind of similar to this, that its lens was just built in. You couldn't do anything. You couldn't change lenses on it or anything. And it was, like, this is leaps and bounds better than the best camera I had just as a consumer person, when I was thinking about cameras a little bit, but before I was ever working with them. So we're going to take a basic video. Show me my image. So now that you're in video mode, you're not having to look through the viewfinder. It's showing you a live image. Whoa. And that's your record button. Little red there.
Okay, yeah.
Bing.
What?
And there you got it. Now we're recording.
You're just getting everything to work just so easily.
And then if we depress the... Maybe it doesn't adjust focus. Maybe you have to stop recording and then readjust focus and then start again.
This is already not seeming like the best camera.
I don't think it's adjusting focus while we're shooting. Well, it says it is. Or maybe it was not enabled by default. So let's try that again. There we go. So now it's, so if you just press down the shutter button while you're doing video, it'll readjust. So now that just readjusted the video from the room to the image that's on the phone. Video of a video of a video. And the other problem is that it's going to be real hard for you to selfie video with this camera and take advantage of some of the higher quality, because it's definitely going to have a higher quality image. Not that no offense, iPhone, but it's going to have some more interesting capabilities. Hopefully, that's why you bought it, right?
The flip feature would be best.
But having that flip, because otherwise, it does have an HDMI out port. So theoretically, you could purchase an exterior monitor that you could perch up here on your hot shoe, and then you'd have the monitor.
So be able to use your phone like that.
Yeah, actually, you might. I'm not sure.
So basically, everything's in post. Like, this is just better to get the better RAW file than a phone.
Yes, it's definitely better for that.
And then you have to know like your lighting and stuff, and so it's like it kind of just all comes together.
Yeah, it's and in as far as like coloring and photo editing goes, this camera, there's going to be a little bit less to work with in the file after the fact. Like you won't have as much, I don't know, it's not really going to be taking in as much data as a higher end camera, and that's just going to limit like the range that you can adjust certain things like after the fact. Might be a little more limited. But
so you'd still have a raw image, it just wouldn't be as detailed?
yeah, I mean, I'm sure that this camera outputs a raw image. Not in a movie file. It's just going to give you like a whatever, like an MPEG or something as a movie file. But I would imagine it's not like. Let's see. Okay. Yes. Okay. So you can export raw photos from this camera. So right now it's just taking like super high quality JPEGs, which you basically have almost no editing leeway with. Whereas the way like a raw photo works is like, think of like a book, okay? A JPEG is just the cover of the book, and the raw image contains the whole contents of the book as well. It's not a very good analogy for editing and like how that limits its editing, but that's a good analogy to describe how the much greater depth of information available in a raw versus a JPEG. Like a JPEG is just like one page from the book, whereas the raw image can be any of them.
That gave me like an analogy. It was like, wow, our brains are like cameras then, because it's holding information of how much light comes in.
Well, I mean, it works like I think of that way a lot about your brain being you can use the analogy of a camera for your brain a lot because like you do like modifiers and you have lenses, you have filters and things that get added to it. And when it's the same thing with your brain, you have different filters through which you're taking through information and deciding which pieces of everything are important and which aren't, and which pieces actually make all their way into the sensor.
Wild. So how do we take a video or a different video?
Well, have you also even experimented with your zoom range?
I couldn't even get it to turn on. I'm not even kidding. I didn't just wait for you. I would have tried to do it on my own.
So because we have the video monitor up now, you can see how much range in focal length you have.
Cool.
It goes pretty wide. It goes all the way to 18. 18 millimeters is pretty wide.
What if I really want to get the snowflakes?
Your video is going to have a hard time getting the snowflakes because it's taking 30 frames per second.
Oh, right.
And they're moving fast.
Yeah.
So like.
Oh, yeah.
They really only appear. You can kind of see them on screen, but they're it's very motion blur. So like it's actually even kind of hard to tell the difference between this and rain right now, except for the fact that you have snowflakes collecting on the railing.
My new webcam, I bought it. I was like, 60 frames per second. I'm starting to know what that is.
What are you trying to do here?
Like just a regular video. Still shoot. It's on A.
No, it's not. It's on movie.
Oh, whoops. Okay. So just click it and then.
This button is the record button. And then the button that your index finger is on can be used to help it to adjust where it's focused. So if you turn it at so if you point it now at something that isn't in focus, if you press that button, it should be able to bring it into focus.
Oh. It did the opposite of that. There we go.
Hold it until it brings it into focus.
Oh. So
Try that.
somewhat manual, but not. That is also not in focus.
Well, now because you've changed the focal length.
Oh, and then you.
So now you have to press the button again.
That works. Yeah. Huh. Okay. How do I know this is going to turn out and not blurry? Like, I guess if it looks.
You're seeing
good
what
in
it's
here.
recording.
Yeah.
So if you're seeing it in the viewfinder, that's what it should look like after. Not in the viewfinder, but on the screen.
Yeah, I'm definitely scared to do this and just...
Yeah, right? Now I gotta readjust it.
Hmm.
Now it's focused on you, I think.
How do people look on this?
There we go.
Yeah, I'm definitely stepping out of my comfort zone. Like, this is not an iPhone. What if you wanted to go shoot in this? Your camera would get wrecked in 2 seconds, right?
It depends on what camera you have. I'm not sure about what the weather sensitivity of this particular model is, but might make it out there for a little while.
So I guess past turning it on and making it work, it's just adjusting the zoom and then the rest is post, right?
For video?
Both.
Well, for video in particular, I guess it depends on how much of the automatic settings you want to use. Actually, I ended up going to school and doing some of it in a college course and stuff. Really, that was the first time I worked with cameras that had as much. Like I said, I had like an $800 consumer camera that I bought that I tried to understand a bit, but I really didn't know anything until I went to school and had started learning some of it at school. But you know what I mean? Obviously, you don't need to go to a college course to learn this stuff. Like, I still feel kind of silly that I even went to a college to learn this stuff, but it ended up being worthwhile. But
buttons during video.
yeah, so that's what I turned on so that you can adjust the focus while you're shooting.
Okay, well, this was kind of fun to play around with and take a look at. It's making noises on me.
It's got like an automatic, it's just like it turns the screen off and stuff automatically after a certain amount of time to conserve battery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right. I could be wrong. But
So what would you rate this camera right now? Should
Would
I
I
keep
rate
it or...
I think that it is a perfectly usable entry-level camera. I think you can afford a camera that is a little bit better and that has a little bit more capabilities, but that doesn't make this a bad choice for you to start with either.
Oh, so you can't just shoot like this. That's a bad idea. It'll get dirty.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't even want that to be open and exposed at all. If you can, like, you just want it to be able to switch lenses, because that's like, on this camera it's less of an issue, but like on my camera, like, because this camera has a mirror there that can get dirty if it can get dust and stuff on it. Again, here, maybe it's just because you were like zoomed in on my leg.
Just like going right. Yeah, your leg. Okay, I couldn't see. Oh yeah, you're supposed to look through the thing.
Here.
Okay.
I'll just wave.
Yes.
And was that more crisp?
Yeah, I think so. Playback. And can I go through them?
Yep.
Should be able to. Backwards. 1, 2.
Yeah, if you're just trying to take pictures of my... What are you trying to photograph?
I find like when I I move to take it, I'm moving it slightly.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you gotta hold it. Yeah, holding it helps. Like, do you kind of hold the bottom?
Yeah, you can support the lens like that.
Mm.
2 hands on the camera is usually good.
Okay. Like here?
Yeah, a lot of
Okay.
cameras, yeah.
Here. I don't know what I'm doing.
I know,
Don't
it's
make fun of
funny.
me.
No, it's just, it's funny. It's funny to me because it's just like, it's how people used to do cameras, and it's just like, it's just evidence. You've just become so accustomed to the phone version of this. It's like one of those videos where they hand a teenager like a piece of technology from the 90s.
Here, put in this VCR.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, like here, what do you think this is? And they hand them a VHS tape or a cassette tape.
Okay.
It's like, this says, I know, or it says Bruce Springsteen on this thing, but I know that's a musician, but this is just a bunch of, it's a weird tape. I don't get it.
No, I'm confused. Okay. And that is all the way. Yes. Cool. What's AF?
Autofocus.
Not
As fuck.
That's a setting. Okay.
This is going to be a good photo. This is going to be as good as fuck photo if you hit this button.
Yeah, we're gonna look at other camera options because this one is maybe a little too amateur.
We're almost like consumer-ish more version of the 7, of the Alpha.
Oh
Alpha series. Like, mine's an Alpha, 7 Series Alpha Mark III.
Yeah.
This is a 2, and this is the C. The C is the, like, the, I mean, I thought it was the lowest end version of it, but it still costs almost twice as much as because the 2, yeah, I mean, it came out of
3K, yeah. Damn.
They still make
Like the floof on top though, I think it's built in and it just looks so weird. Like, yeah.
That's actually built in? That's gross.
And if we're looking at $3,000 merchandise, someone should be over and helping us.
Very powerful camera. For stills, like,
So
I remember when I was buying my camera a couple of years ago, this one is like the older version of my camera, and it's rated almost as highly.
Yeah, it's like, what do you really get for double the price? Almost. Jeez.
Well, I imagine that the 7C is probably going to be a little better for video and stuff like that in particular. Maybe a bit better image stabilization, better autofocus, stuff like that. But this is a very good camera.
I'm happy with what we looked at.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's cool. Thank you. Always helps to bring an expert with you though.